How many times have we talked about the possibility of intelligent life beyond Earth? Perhaps too many to count. But one thing is certain up to this very moment, humanity still has not grasped truly convincing evidence. Something clear and undeniable enough to affirm, yes, they do exist. Why is that? We have countless theories, legends, and even urban myths surrounding the existence of extraterrestrials. America's Area 51 has long become a symbol of secrets related to alien beings. Numerous stories spread about mysterious visits, strange lights tearing through the night sky, and unexpected encounters. But while conspiracy theory enthusiasts continue to argue, the mainstream scientific community has yet to present a single piece of definitive evidence. So what is really going on? Is there some invisible force preventing contact between us and them? Or is it simply they don't want to be found? To find the answer, we need to turn back. Time to a special moment in history. A day like any other at the Los Alamos National Laboratory in the United States. During lunch among some of America's brightest physicists, a man named Dr. Eric Malone posed a question that completely changed how humanity views the universe. If extraterrestrials really do exist, then where are they? At first, the conversation revolved around a funny cartoon in the newspaper depicting trash cans being abducted by aliens. But soon things became more serious. They began discussing the possibility of faster-than-light travel of civilizations that might have developed millions of years before us. And then, with eyes shining with thoughtfulness, Dr. Malone said something that made everyone fall silent. We should look directly at the paradox we are living in. From that moment, a theory was born, the Malone Paradox, inspired by the famous Fermi Paradox. The paradox is simple yet haunting. If the universe is so vast as to be nearly infinite, and if life can arise wherever just a few conditions are right, then why among billions of stars and trillions of planets have we seen? No one could there be so many civilizations out there that we are just a single drop in a cosmic ocean? Or on the contrary, are we truly alone? Let's try to translate this question into numbers. In the part of the universe our telescopes can observe, there are about 76 trillion stars among them. It's estimated there are over 250 billion star systems similar to our Sun within the Milky Way alone. And if just a small fraction of those stars have planets in the habitable zone, then the probability of other civilizations existing is far from small. In theory, that would make Earth quite ordinary, nothing special, just one of countless other planets following the laws of the universe. So then, once again, why do we see nothing at all? Human history shows that any civilization advanced enough will expand first by exploiting the resources of its own planet, then by reaching out to neighboring star systems. Our modern world is proof of this law of development. So why is there no one out there? No signals, no devices, no fragments of ruins. Some thinkers suggest that very silence is a survival strategy. Contacting another civilization in the universe is not a simple act. It might be the most dangerous thing any species has ever done. The risk isn't political or geographical, it's the risk of extinction. Imagine a man lost in a dark forest with no light, no sound, unaware of what might be lurking around him. He could light a torch to find his way, but he also knows that light could attract anything. It might be a good person and he would be saved, but it might also be a predator and his life would end in an instant. The universe from a deeper perspective is that dark forest. We who are trying to light the flame, broadcasting radio signals, building telescopes, launching probes, may be drawing the attention of things that we absolutely should not encounter. This is no longer just science fiction. It is a realistic and hotly debated hypothesis in modern astronomy. Perhaps extraterrestrials do exist and they have learned the lesson silence means survival. In the treasure trove of science fiction, the idea of a dark forest where every civilization tries to hide its existence out of fear of being destroyed was first clearly presented in the novel The Killing Star by American author Douglas Drake, published in 1995. This novel painted a world where interstellar civilizations might act like predators, silent, ruthless, and merciless. Drake proposed two thought-provoking points. First, he argued that every species tends to place its own survival above all else, even if that means sacrificing other species. and humanity, with its instinct for self-defense and its ambition to survive, would be no exception. Second, when a civilization reaches the level of being able to explore the universe, it will become extremely cautious of any potential threat, because life in space is not only a wonder, but also a danger. If both of these assumptions are true, not just for humanity, but for any extraterrestrial civilization, then we have reason to believe that aliens are doing the same thing, hiding. They, like us, may be afraid of the unknown. In the dark, endless cosmic forest where every sign of life could be an invitation or a death sentence, perhaps the wisest choice is silence. Imagine if some creature were to light the first torch in that dark forest. Its light would spread, and with it the risk of being discovered, watched, and destroyed. That is the essence of the dark forest hypothesis, a grim yet compelling idea to explain why this universe is so eerily quiet. But what is more frightening is not that silence itself. It is the fact that we have broken that silence. In 1977, NASA launched two probes, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Each carried a golden record containing images, sounds, and greetings from Earth, a message we sent into the cosmos, in the hope that if someone someday finds it, they will know that we once existed. Those golden records are like torches shining brightly in the vast darkness of space. And the question is, did we truly understand all the consequences of that action? In the effort to solve the Malone paradox inspired by the famous Fermi Paradox, scientists have yet to provide a definitive answer. But in 1961, a symbolic equation was born, the Drake equation, proposed by astronomer Dr. Frank Drake. This is a formula that attempts to estimate the number of extraterrestrial civilizations in our galaxy capable of communication. The formula is as follows: n charn r, x fpx ne, x flx, phi x fcx la, where n is the number of civilizations capable of communication. R is the rate of star formation per year in the galaxy. Fp is the probability that a star has a planetary system. Ni is the number of planets in each system that could potentially support life. Fl is the probability that life actually develops on those planets. And phi is the probability that life evolves into intelligent beings. Fs is the probability that such a civilization develops technology to transmit signals into space. L is the length of time they emit detectable signals before disappearing or going extinct. The problem is, even when we try to estimate each of these variables, the result can range from almost no one at all to hundreds of thousands of civilizations. The universe is just too vast. And because of that ambiguity, some thinkers argue that the natural response of any civilization faced with such uncertainty is to eliminate a potential threat before becoming threatened. In other words, if you cannot be sure that the other is friendly, you should act as if they are not. That's why any intelligent civilizations that may exist could be deliberately hiding, afraid that humanity itself might pose a threat. And conversely, humans might do the same with any signal they consider unsafe. The scientist David Brin, who once worked with NASA, has supported this hypothesis as an explanation for the eerie silence of the universe. He argues that any civilization discovering how to use radio waves would soon realize every signal sent out is a gamble with survival. At this point, we can't help but ask ourselves, could it be that humanity is also putting itself in danger by continuously sending countless radio signals into space in an effort to search for extraterrestrial life? The answer, in fact, is very possibly. Daniel Briggs, an American astrophysicist, is not the only one who fears such a dark scenario. When he was alive, Stephen Hawthorne and many other leading scientists also issued serious warnings about the recklessness of humanity's attempts to broadcast signals in search of alien life. According to them, such actions are not necessarily wise. They could even be dangerous invitations to entities whose nature we do not yet understand. At the time, a wave of debate erupted within both academia and the media. The big question was posed: should we continue sending signals into space at all? Sending out signals means revealing the location of humanity in the vastness of the universe. And if a foreign civilization were to acquire those coordinates, what might happen? Could a decision that might affect the survival of all humankind have been made so easily? Who has the right to speak on behalf of Earth in doing so? Of course, this hypothesis remains controversial. Some argue that if there truly were a civilization intelligent and aggressive enough to want to conquer other planets, they would have detected and attacked Earth long ago, especially considering that we've been transmitting signals into space for over half a century. And so far, we are still safe. We have yet to see any clear signs of alien intrusion or intervention. In fact, some theories suggest civilizations beyond Earth might just as well form alliances to face common threats rather than slaughter each other. The so-called dark forest where everyone hides in fear and is ready to destroy others might only be a partial metaphor, not representative of how all extraterrestrial civilizations think. Thus, while the dark forest hypothesis is certainly compelling and dramatic, it still fails to convince everyone. It has not fully explained why we have yet to detect any clear signs from alien beings. So the next question is, are there other possible solutions to the Fermi Paradox? The answer is yes. Some scientists argue that planets with conditions suitable for life to form and evolve to the point of producing multicellular organisms and superior intelligence are in fact extremely rare. So rare that it's almost impossible. According to them, creating intelligent life like humanity requires a chain of astronomical and physical conditions so exceptional that it borders on miraculous, and this hypothesis is called the rare Earth hypothesis. In 2000, two American researchers, Peter Ward, a paleontologist, and Donald Brownlee, an astronomer, published a groundbreaking book. In it, they provided a compelling explanation for humanity's loneliness in the universe. Their hypothesis suggests it is the extraordinary rarity of Earth, from its cosmic location to its physical structure, that has created a perfect ecosystem allowing complex life to develop. Ward and Brownlee argued that many seemingly random factors of Earth, the Sun and the solar system, have together created an environment so stable and ideal that it defies belief. Some of these factors had been discussed in astronomy circles before, but others had scarcely been noticed. The rare Earth hypothesis focuses on deeply analyzing the conditions our planet possesses and the essential role each factor plays in supporting the development of complex life. Specifically, the key factors highlighted include: Earth lies within the galaxy's habitable zone, a region rich in the heavy elements needed for life, yet far enough from dangerous sources of radiation. The planet orbits a stable star with a lifespan of billions of years, which doesn't emit excessive harmful ultraviolet rays. Earth's orbit allows water to exist in liquid form, a vital condition for life, a sufficient distance from the star to avoid tidal locking with its central star. Earth's axial tilt is stable enough to create seasonal climate variations without causing extreme upheavals. The presence of gas giants like Jupiter acting as cosmic shields helps protect Earth from large asteroids, reducing the risk of mass extinctions. Of course, there have been exceptions like the extinction of the dinosaurs, but overall, these factors are so astonishingly rare that they may explain why complex life like ours is almost impossible to find anywhere else. Earth, a small yet miraculous planet in the vast universe, is not only large enough to retain its precious atmosphere, but also possesses a molten iron core that generates a powerful magnetic field. This invisible shield has protected life from the sun's deadly radiation for billions of years. Even more remarkable, Earth has plate tectonics, a complex and unique geological process that plays a vital role in regulating the climate and shaping the surface where complex life can thrive. And most importantly, we have oxygen, not just its presence, but at the right time and in the right concentration to support the extraordinary evolution of life. These conditions, according to researchers like Dr. Daniel Carter and Professor Lisa Morgan, co-authors of the Rare Earth Hypothesis, are not merely random. In the 2 decades since the book's publication, the idea that complex life is extraordinarily rare in the universe has drawn increasing attention from the scientific community. But why is life abundant on Earth while the rest of the universe seems nearly barren? Many scientists in the past overlooked the factor of plate tectonics, the very mechanism that has made Earth a biological marvel. It is the foundation that creates diverse terrain, regulates CO2, and supports the water cycle, all essential to maintaining a life-sustaining planet over long periods. Indeed, Earth is currently the only known body in the solar system with active plate tectonics. And only here do we see complex high-level life, something humanity has never detected on any other known planet. However, it is important to emphasize that the rare Earth hypothesis applies only to complex life. Simple life like bacteria may be far more common, since even in Earth's harshest environments, such as volcanic vents or the deep ocean floor, bacteria still survive. The real question is, do they have the conditions necessary to evolve into intelligent life? If we confine our view to the solar system, or even our galaxy, the rare hypothesis seems quite reasonable. But when we consider the entire universe with trillions of galaxies, each containing billions of planets, a big question arises. If life could develop elsewhere, why haven't we encountered it? The answer may lie in distance. The universe is so vast that human imagination can barely grasp its scale. Civilizations, if they exist, may be separated by millions or even tens of millions of light years. No matter how advanced their technology, sending a signal across such distances would still take millions of years, and that civilization might have gone extinct long before their greeting ever reached us. From here, a more frightening theory emerges: the Great Filter Hypothesis. It suggests that it's not that we haven't found them, but that there's no one left to find. Most civilizations may have been wiped out by extinction-level events before they could reach the technological stage necessary for interstellar travel. According to this theory, in the process from the emergence of primitive life to the development of a Type 3 civilization, meaning one capable of harnessing planetary scale or greater energy, there exists a deadly wall. This stage is extremely harsh, requiring life to overcome numerous catastrophic challenges. Only a tiny fraction can survive and continue evolving. The life development charts modeled by researchers show that at first there is rich diversity, but with each filter event, such as climate catastrophes, asteroid impacts, or supervolcano eruptions, the number of surviving species drops sharply. Only the best adapted species endure and move forward. If humanity is among them, then we are a rare exception in the cosmic game of survival. But the important question is, where are we now in this great filter process? Have we already passed it, or are we still in the early stages? Looking at Earth's history, it is clear that life has had to survive at least 5 mass extinction events in the past. The first occurred about 444 million years ago, known as the Silurian extinction event, which wiped out over 85% of marine species. At that time, life had only just begun to crawl onto land. This was followed by periods of violent upheaval from the Ordovician and Devonian to the famous Permian-Triassic extinction, the most brutal cleansing ever, killing up to 96% of all life. The second factor began when the ice-melted Earth warmed up and the seas once again teemed with life. But not all creatures managed to adapt in time. Species that had evolved to survive in icy climates now face changes happening too quickly for them to cope, leading to their extinction. But why did the Ice Age appear at that time? Some studies suggest that the erosion process drew a large amount of CO2 out of the atmosphere, causing Earth to gradually cool. The explosion of plant life is also thought to have reduced the greenhouse effect while accelerating silicate rock erosion, a process that lowered global temperatures. Another hypothesis proposes that bursts of gamma rays from distant parts of the universe caused nitrogen and oxygen to react, forming a haze that blocked sunlight and pushed Earth into an ice age. After the first extinction event around 383 million years ago, a series of natural occurrences caused oxygen levels in the oceans to decline. About 75% of species were wiped out over the next 20 million years. The cause of this second extinction event remains a mystery. Some theories suggest that volcanoes, asteroids, or even a major change in plant life may have contributed to the disaster. Many scientists believe that plants may have unintentionally played a role in this extinction. As they adapted to new environments, many species of plants grew larger with deeper roots that accelerated the weathering of rock. This process released more nutrients into the oceans, leading to algal blooms and the creation of dead zones, areas where life was nearly suffocated due to lack of oxygen. The explosive growth of plant life also absorbed more CO2, dramatically altering the global climate. More than 100 million years later, Earth faced an even more terrifying disaster, the Permian-Triassic mass extinction. A massive volcanic eruption released chemicals that destroyed the ozone layer, the only shield protecting life from the sun's radiation. At that time, Earth not only heated up, but was also scorched by lethal radiation, resulting in the largest extinction event in the planet's history. 97% of species disappeared completely. What remains today are the descendants of about 10% of the species that survived this catastrophe. Some findings indicate that this eruption, which lasted nearly 1 million years, filled the atmosphere with toxins, destroyed the ozone layer, and triggered an unprecedented wave of extinction. By the end of the Triassic, about 201 million years ago, Earth went through yet another purge. The cause is believed to have been violent eruptions from the Central Atlantic magmatic province, the first sign of the supercontinent Pangaea breaking apart and the formation of the Atlantic Ocean. As magma surged upward, massive amounts of greenhouse gases were released into the atmosphere, causing severe ocean acidification. Earth warmed. Marine organisms could no longer form shells from calcium carbonate, essential for survival. Crocodiles, the dominant vertebrates of that time, were nearly wiped out. But from this destruction, the first dinosaurs began to emerge, ushering in a new era. And then came the final extinction event about 66 million years ago. No catastrophe is more famous or haunting than the Chicxulub asteroid impact, a 12-kilometer wide object that struck Earth at 70,000 km. The collision not only created a massive crater 190 kilometers wide, but also triggered global tsunamis and incinerated every forest within a 1,500-kilometer radius. Dust and debris hurled into the atmosphere collapsed ecosystems within weeks. About 76% of life on the planet was wiped out. Humans arrived only after all of this as the last miraculous remnant of life. But that does not mean we are safe. It is entirely possible that other planets in the universe once hosted life like ours. The only difference is that they failed the survival test of the cosmos. Thousands of civilizations, perhaps far more advanced than humanity, may have been swept away by similar extinction events. And that is precisely why, to this day, we have yet to find anyone else out there. The question is, having survived 5 mass extinctions, can humanity continue to exist? Can we find life beyond Earth? Sadly, the answer may be no, because we are now closer than ever to the 6th mass extinction, and this time the cause does not come from the cosmos, but from humanity itself. Currently, about 41% of amphibian species and over 25% of mammal species are on the brink of extinction. As many as 25,000 species out of more than 91,000 species assessed in the 2017 Red List update are under serious threat. And if no changes are made, scientists predict that many insect species will go completely extinct within the next 100 years, leading to the total collapse of the ecological chain. There is no denying it, humans are the perpetrators of a great filtering. And then on some distant planet, perhaps someone will look in our direction and ask, why did they never find any intelligent species that once existed? For now, we have only 2 hopes. One, to protect ourselves to avoid the wave of filtering, and to preserve our civilization until it is strong enough to reach out into the cosmos, when distance will no longer be a barrier. 2, that somewhere far away, another civilization has also passed through the age of destruction and is searching for beacons of hope like we are. If one day they find us, will they come in peace or in war? Only they will know the answer to that. Do you hope to meet them or hope they will visit us? I believe each of us already has our own answer.